Eric here with Steffen Outdoors. Today I'm going to talk about how I protect my apple trees from getting eaten by deer and everything I do to make sure that I can make that happen. First thing we need to do is we need to go raid Mama's drawers and find an old pair of nylons or stockings. So let's get going on that. We had to do that fast so she wouldn't catch us. Now I'm going to round up some soap, some string, and some scissors, and I'll show you what we do next. Scissors, nylons, soap, string. Okay, we take our nylons, cut a piece off. This is the toe piece, so that's an easy one. We put a piece of soap in there, cut a piece of string off, tie a little knot in it. And that's good to go. Now, if you want to use a bandsaw as old as mine, you're on your own. I don't know where you'll find one like that anymore. So why soap? Well, about 15-20 years ago, I was talking to a guy I work with, I said, I've got some apple trees. The deer keep eating the branches. Can't figure out how to get them to stop. And I don't want to put out fence because I've got so many trees. He says, hey, I got cherry trees. I hang a little piece of soap on them, keeps the deer away. So I tried it. Well, it works. It works quite well. So I'm going to go down and show you a couple of trees that I have just a little piece of soap on so you can see what that looks like. Alright, you can see I've got a little piece of soap here. Looks like I need to replace the piece of nylon that I have on there because that's starting to fall apart. So I'll just take one that I just put together a few minutes ago. I'll take my little piece of string and we'll just tie that right on there like that. And the deer will not bother this tree. Now, one other thing you may notice here, I've got some fence around this. I just talked about how I don't need the fence if I've got the soap. Well, the soap keeps the deer from nipping the ends of the branches off, so that protects the buds and the branch. But this little fence on the inside right here, this fence here protects against rabbits, mice, that kind of thing. This one on the outside, well, that's good for once in a while you find out birds that like to pick at your soap. I don't know why, but they do. And then that'll keep the deer so they can't get all the way up against the trunk. The other thing the fence does is it keeps it so that bucks can't rub all the bark off and kill the tree. Now right over this way I've got another tree. You can see a little piece of soap hanging on it. That fence is real wide, so nothing can get at any of the branches no matter what happens. Once those trees get a little bit bigger, I want to shrink that fence up. I'm still gonna keep some fence on there because I don't want those deer rubbing their antlers on there. A buck will take a young tree and rip it right out of the ground. How do I know that? Well, I had years ago about 20 apple trees and then none of them survived. This is where we learn from our past mistakes. So I do have a little bit of fence. I just bring it way in because I want the apples that fall off the tree to fall outside the fence so the deer can actually eat them. And squirrels will eat them too, and bears will eat them, and whatever happens to wander by. This tree here has been in the ground a couple of years, so we already have the front fence shrunk up. Have a smaller fence around it. I don't have any soap on this tree yet, but I'm going to put a little piece on there because as we're getting close to winter here, the deer will be probably nipping on the branches more as the farm crops dry up and are harvested. Just like that. These need to be pruned also. We've got some water sprouts coming up and some other branches that are not going to be productive for producing apples, so we'll prune those up so that in the spring they can start fresh without all the extra branches and get a lot of sun in there for those apples. All right, that's all we need to do. On a tree with some real wide branches like this one here, maybe you'll put one piece of soap on each side, but you really don't need to hang much there. You'd be amazed at how little it takes to keep the deer off. By the way, it is a little cold here. That is snow. We have snow that fell. Second snow of the year already. A little early for that, but that's the way it goes. Well, and that's what I do to protect my apple trees. I actually have apple trees in 6 different places on the property, and I'm planning to put in more, but that's for another time. I'll go into some detail on why I have so many apple trees out and why I put them where I did and how it's affected the property. That's for a different day. Until then, don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you later.